Hello everybody, this is Lauralee from Personal Cook Lauralee. Welcome back. I today will be sharing with you my recipe for my stuffed mushrooms. I used to make these all the time when we lived back in Massachusetts. When we bought our first home there, we were always having parties. Any excuse we could, we will always have our family to come over and just share time with us. My stuffed mushrooms were one of the things that I used to make on a regular basis, and my Uncle Pee-wee loved these. He always devoured them and was always so satisfied eating them, and he just really enjoyed it. So I dedicate this video to you, Pee-wee. I hope you guys all enjoy how I make my stuffed mushrooms. Just take them out the casing, cut them in half, or what I just do is I just go ahead and squeeze it from the bottom and it just comes right out. So however you want to do it. And so what I'll do is as I get this browning, I'm going to go ahead and cut my vegetables. At this point, the temperature is on a 2, and then when I'm really ready to cut the vegetables bowl up, I'll bring it up to a 3, so like a low medium or medium. But this right here is so soothing to me. I can sit here all day and do this. Soothing, relaxing, helps me to meditate. Again, this cooking for me is very therapeutic. We're going to use this for our stuffed mushrooms. When it comes to Thanksgiving, you can do the same thing and put this in butter. And you can like roll it up and then just season the turkey with this, with all these. So this is the meat all cooked. I haven't added any ingredients or any other seasonings. You can see obviously that there's already seasoning in there from the meat itself. So now I'm going to add all of the vegetables that I cut up. The onions, the shallots, the green peppers, and all of the mixture of the oregano, rosemary, thyme, and the garlic. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Those vegetables just hit the pan and it smells so good right now. Can't wait. Oh my goodness. I wish you guys can smell this. This is ridiculous. So again, this is 2 pounds of meat. I made this much because I like to have extra meat. And so you'll see how much I'll end up with. I have the 2 packs of the portobello mushrooms, and they're about 6 ounces, so I have 12 ounces of these. And then I'll have the 8 ounce of the baby bella. So we'll see how far I get with this meat and the mushrooms. I know I'm going to have leftover, but that is completely okay because I can always use this meat for something else. I can use this for spaghetti, the soup, more stuffing, and it's just a fast warm-up. So I just wanted to show you, I've cleaned all of my caps. I had the medium-sized one and the smaller portobello, baby bella mushrooms here, and then some of the gills, if you will, or the inside of it. If you wanted to stretch your mushrooms a longer way, you can go ahead and peel this and then cut these up too and put it into the stuffing. I really have never done that before, but I know that that would be, again, a way to stretch your mushrooms. But I'm just not going to do it now. So I'll show you, these are the mushrooms left. What I've heard before from some chefs, like Food Network for instance, is that you should take like a wet towel or a wet napkin and wipe all of the dirt off, since everything is cultivated and done in a, like, for example, in a clean environment. But yeah, I really don't care for that idea, just because there's still dirt in here, and I'd rather have the texture be a little off. My preference is I'd rather have something a little bit rubbery than eat dirt. I'll show you here, let me scrape this out. But I like to put mine in a bag just to get an easier cleanup. Alright, and it's pretty nice and clean. And then for these, I am not going to be picky. I just pull these out and then just with my hands pull any extras out. So see, for mushrooms that I don't take my time and I end up breaking, just like I did this one, what I'll do is I'll wash up, cut up, and put it in the meat. Because I don't know, that just doesn't look good for as far as the presentation. Now people can care less and they'll eat it anyways, but I like to have not everything perfect, but everything just look really nice when I know, kind of hand it over to you and say, here, this is what I've made for you. Now I've washed these already, so this is just the pieces that kind of broke in chunks because I wasn't taking my time with it. So I'm just gonna chop it finely and put it in the meat. Alright, so now we have this beautiful meat in here. Little baby mushrooms that I cut up, just gonna put it in here. Just to add a little extra flavor, add a little cheese in here now. Ounces, and I've taken about that much to put it in the meat. And that will give it some more flavor. If you're trying to watch your calories, you know, by all means leave this out, but it just really marries all the flavors together. All right, so I finished incorporating the cheese and I just got a little taste and it is so good. However, I'm just gonna add this in here. I just want to use this up because it's only a little bit and I don't want it to go bad. Great Poupon. I'm gonna use about this much. Mix that all in. And just to pick up all of those bits from the bottom of the pan, I have some white wine. Usually I like to use Chardonnay because it's nice and buttery. All right, and I just tasted the meat again. It is just so good. All I'm gonna add is black pepper. Usually I'll add some fennel seeds, Italian seasoning, but this meat was actually seasoned so well that I think if I add anything else to it, it would be overdoing it. But I mean, again, when you cook sausage, you have like onion, garlic, pepper, paprika, fennel seeds in there, just a whole bunch of different ingredients, and this is just so good. There's times when you need to add your special touch to it or add more ingredients, but I think if I add anything right now, it will be overdoing it. And not to forget, I'm still gonna add cheese in here, and so that will cover everything. I poured in here about a cup of panko bread, that either Ritz or these Club Minis. And even if you want to, what you could do is put them in a blender and have it just as fine as the panko bread crumbs. This is why I like cooking, because there's so many different variations. I know that there are some traditional dishes, right? But that could be very pleasing and you can appreciate that. Sometimes you just want to put your own touch into your dish. And we're now going to chop up our beautiful parsley leaves. So what I'm gonna do is take about most of it, maybe leave like a tablespoon to the side, and I'm gonna add this into the breadcrumbs mix. This I'm gonna go ahead and cut up and put into the breadcrumbs too. Add also into the breadcrumbs is 3 slices of turkey bacon. You can use regular bacon, I've used in the past, to go into the breadcrumbs, and then 2 pieces of bacon to go on top after everything is done and cooked. Okay, so I have everything mixed in together. Pecorino Romano. You can use Parmesan as well. This cheese is so good. It has just a little bit more bite to it than Parmesan cheese. Parmesan cheese to me is more buttery, salty but more buttery. This is the same thing, but just a little kick. Smells divine. I'm gonna add this into the meat now. Okay, we're back here again. This is actually has cooled down some, and I did this purposely so that I can add the stuffing. So remember, it was about a cup of the panko breadcrumbs and a cup of the crackers. Like I said, they could be Ritz or they can be the club or club minis, whichever one. And again, even if you have a pound of meat and you use the same amount of breadcrumbs, it will still work. It'll just stretch out more. Of course, we have to do a little taste. I'm so done. This is so delicious. Pee-wee, I hope you love this because All right, I'm gonna show you how I stuff them. I'm gonna turn on the oven at conventional roast for 400 degrees. And while that's warming up, again, just use a little olive oil, pour it in here. And the mushrooms, I will be salting because, you know, mushrooms can be kind of bland. Put some black pepper and salt, some kosher salt. I like to make sure that they're all seasoned. Just mix them around a bit. Because when they cook, they're gonna brown a little bit, right? So you don't want like any of the skin to look kind of dry. That's what's gonna happen. If it's not oiled up like this, for instance, the skin is gonna look like it's all old and wrinkly. This is one of those dishes that you really can't mess up, and even if you do, you can kind of correct it with either breadcrumbs or more meat or more vegetables. So I'm gonna take my spoon now and go around and stuff these babies. If it's more comfortable for you to grab it and then scoop the meat in, that is okay as well. To have my mushrooms nicely stuffed. And this is a great thing. Again, you can really make this dish go a longer way because let's say you're trying to feed a lot of people, you have a lot of mushroom but not a lot of meat, you can just put just a little and it will still be sufficient. As I mentioned, I used to make these all the time when we used to have our house parties back in Massachusetts, but I also used to have girls' night out, and we would get a whole bunch of my coworkers or close friends to come over, and I would make this, and it was kind of nice because everybody would either bring a bottle of wine or they would bring some type of appetizer, and we just had like the best time talking about anything and everything, and sometimes nothing, but it was just fun to be in each other's company. All right, I'm gonna finish this up and show you the last mixture that I do, the juice that I do for this before I put them in the oven. I'm gonna make the liquids that's going to go into the pan with the stuffed mushrooms. Marsala wine, just bringing those flavors back again, and then your balsamic vinegar. Remember, this is a little bit stronger. And remember, if you don't have wine or don't want to cook with wine, you can always substitute it with chicken broth or beef broth, or vegetable broth, olive oil, and then you kind of mix those in. Okay, just wanted to show you, this is the leftover meat. These bag up and put it in the freezer for the following time. So what I'm gonna add onto here will be some cheese on top. Then remember, we have our basil and parsley and bacon to come, but that will be after it cooks. And I'm gonna put this in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes and then just do our toppings. Cheesiness, and into the oven it goes. So I wanted to show you, I combined all of the mushrooms together, and if you can see the bottom of the pan, there's all of those juices that are being released. You can go ahead and stop right there, but of course, you know me, I like to take it to the next level. So this is the pan from the smaller mushrooms, and I was thinking, you know what, how can I recreate this, you know, differently than I have done in the past? And so I thought maybe just make a little gravy. There's 2 tablespoons. I'm going to take the 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and just mix that around. I like to use this because this really kind of spreads it around without it clumping up like it can. And just put a little bit of the Marsala wine. That's cooking wine. I'm gonna let this cook for another minute or two. And then I'm just gonna add some milk. My gravy, I've been whisking this. You saw how much I put in before, 2 tablespoons, just the drippings and some of the juice from the smaller pan, close to 2 cups of milk, and then Marsala wine. So now that's bubbling up, maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes at the most. And it's, I just turned it down to simmer, but it was on 2. I'm just going to add pepper into this. Then the last thing is you can use fresh garlic, but since I already cleaned up and put everything away, I'm just going to use powdered garlic. Ooh. Usually I do a little butter, but this already had a lot of flavor, some olive oil, so I did not add any butter to this. I'm going to let this cook for another 4 or 5 more minutes, and then I will show you how I plate. Everything is done. I'm going to show you how to plate this 2 different ways. The mushrooms, and go ahead and nestle those right in. And then you just want to take the juice, again pour it around, and then just drop it into the middle. And so if you're presenting this, people will see these beautiful stuffed mushrooms and then the liquid juice on the bottom. And then if you're doing it with a gravy, just put the gravy on top. Spread that gravy around. And get your mushrooms, slide that right on it. And then as we cut up earlier, the basil, the parsley, and the bacon, you just go ahead and spread that around. You can make it rain. And that's how you will serve it. I'm not gonna record myself eating. I'm gonna try this and wanted to show you, because if you look in here, you can see all that juiciness and how it's very moist in here. I think it's a great blend. The meat has all sorts of flavor. And then the mushroom is there and present and fresh, but it's milder. That is delicious. This does bring back memories of my old house parties that I used to have. Wow. Now we're gonna go ahead and try and grab some of that gravy. We put it over on top. See the mushrooms? To me, I like it like this. It's nice and tender and juicy, like even the mushroom is nice and juicy. Wow. Oh my gosh, that is incredible. Flavors that are so intense, but not overpowering. So this might be my new favorite. So this is my traditional way, just with the liquids. And this is the new way I just recreated today with the gravy. So good. Theo, I hope you enjoy. When you make this, let me know how it goes. And for all of you, if you make this, please send me pictures. It's so pleasing. And if you want, since you cook with some of the white wine, you can have a little glass of wine as well with your meal. And that just brings everything together. I hope you make this for someone that you love, that you care for. Thanks so much, guys, for watching Personal Cook Lauralee with Lauralee. Have a good one.